Hi everyone, welcome to the online BIM course. In this video, I'm going to solve 49 questions of the pure test for the Revit Architecture software. In Autodesk, in the training sections for the Revit Architecture, there is a pure test part. Once you go on that part, there are 49 questions, mostly multiple choice questions. There are also some tables, drag and drop questions, as well as figures and exhibits that test your knowledge and skills of using the software. In this video, I'm going to solve most of the questions. I will show you some of the parts using the Revit, because on the exam day, you are not allowed to use the Revit for the exam. Now we are going to solve the questions.
In Revit for architectural design periods, there are 49 questions. First, an architectural designer is working on resolving warning in a project. The designer has an element ID of an associated with the warning. Which tool must be used? The answer is select by ID. When you go to that warning, there is an ID for the warning. You can copy the ID, make a note, and you also can click on the show and you will find the ID. However, using the ID, there you also can find the element ID, directly by going to the select by ID and writing the ID of that element associated with the warning, and then you can go directly to the ID and solve the relevant issue. Next question. In which dialog the layer naming convention for exported CAD files controlled? The answer for this is modify DWG DXF export setup. Once you go in the file, there are print section as well as the export section. You can export and go to the CAD format, which has many type of files that you can control it. Next question. Refer to this exhibit, which is about sheet issues and revisions. An architectural designer has created 4 revisions. The designer wants the revisions to be named A1, AB, 2A, 2B. How can this be accomplished? The answer is that you must make custom revisions. For that, as you see, revision is number 1 and 2. If you want to make it customized, a 1A, 1B, 2A, or 2B, you must go to view, and on the view there you can click on the sheet issues and revisions. In the numbering part, down on there is customized numbering, and there you can create a new numbering sequence. For example, you make it new, and there once you make alphanumeric, you can change that to A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, and furthermore, depending on the number of revisions that you need. Then you click on the OK, and your new numbering sequence is being created, and it will be inserted on the list. Then you can select the new on the numbering for both revisions, and you apply. Once it is applied, then the revision is being changed to A1 and A2. Next question. Refer to exhibit. Based on the drawing area, what view state is currently active? Temporary hide isolate, Gray, inactive worksets, work sharing display mode, reveal hidden elements. The answer is work sharing display mode. On the Revit interface, on the below there is work sharing display and there are worksets. If you activate, for example, the worksets, then the page is being displayed as in the exhibit.
Next question, refer to exhibit. The face of a view is set to new construction and the face filter is set to show complete. What will control the graphic display of demolished elements? Object styles for the new construction phase. Demolished elements will not be visible in the view. That's the correct answer. Next question, what are the two view options when placing a legend component? Select 2. When we want to place a legend component, we can only select either in the floor plan or the section. So these two are the correct answers. Next question, an architectural designer needs to create a repeating detail type for a brick. What should be created first for the brick? Generic annotation type, detail component. The answer for this question is the detail component type, because in the Revit interface, if you want to go to the component, there is detail component and repeating detail component. First, you need to create detail component. For example, if you want to create a roof, first you need to create the detail component, and then you can use the detail repeating component function to repeat that detail component. Next question, an architectural designer is working in a 3D view and wants to see only the roof elements. The designer wants to inspect the roof elements without affecting the view properties. Which tool should be used? Isolate category. That is the correct answer. If you go to the Revit interface, when you select the roof on the below, there are basically the part where you can click on that, and you can click on the roof and then you click on the isolate category, and then this roof is isolated and you can bring any changes you want without affecting the rest of the elements. Next question, an architectural designer is creating parameters for a door family. Drag and drop each type of the parameter to the correct corresponding description. The height of the door, it must go to the length, because height is length. Yes, no. The material of the door trim goes to the material section. Our parameter to control the hardware visibility, that goes to the yes and no question, no part. And a field to enter custom notes goes to the text.
Okay, next question. An architectural designer has created a model group and wants to place additional instances of the group. Which two of the following methods can be used? Select 2. Activate the Place Model Group tool. Use the Copy tool to copy the original group. Okay, these two are the correct answers, and we skip the rest of the choices. In Revit, when we go to the interface, for example, we select the car here and the parking area or any of the other elements, we can then create a group. Once we create a group, we can specify the name, and then for example, this is car, and we click on OK, Then on the project browser below there is groups, and in the model part there is a car. You can copy the car, and using the copy tool you can copy it simply, or you can just drag and drop the model group and place it anywhere in the model. So and now we delete those two cars. Okay, next question. An architecture designer is creating a wall type. The designer only wants to show the walls of the brick on a mutual type. How should this be accomplished? Filter the schedule by wall type equals brick on middle estate. That's the correct answer, and we do not need to read the rest of the question. Once you go to the interface and click on the new schedule, you can create a wall, and then on the fields you can select, for example, the can, the family, the length of the wall, as well as the type of the wall. And once they are created, then you can go to the filter, and on the filter you can basically filter the type of the wall to any type of the wall that you may have. For example, here we may have curtain walls, you may have exterior walls, and different types of walls that you may have. For example, here there are two types of wall, basic wall and curtain wall. You click on OK, and then the schedule created will only show the walls and the middle estate. Next question. An architecture designer wants to control the view properties of several views using a view template. After assigning the view template to all the views, the view scale can still be adjusted in the view control bar for each view. Why is this happening? The answer for this question is that include is not selected for the view scale parameter in the view template. Next question. What must be turned on to perform a solar study? In solar study, shadow is very important. Once you go on the interface and once your model is created, on the below you can activate sand pad as well as shadow. Next question. An architecture designer needs to create a detail using detail components. The detail should be independent of the building model. What type of view should be used? For that, the drafting view should be used. Next question. An architecture designer is reviewing instances properties of a room and notices that the volume is set to not computed. How can this parameter be calculated? The answer is that change the volume computations to areas and volumes. Here, for example, if you select one of the rooms, we first hide this topo solid, and once we see one of the rooms, and there actually volume is not showing. However, we can go on the architecture and the room part in the area and volume computation. We must select areas and volumes, and then when it is active we can see the volume of a room here, for example, volume is 51 cubic meter. Next question. An architectural designer encounters the situation shown in the exhibit. The designer wants to connect the wall to the roof. Which tool should be used to accomplish this? For that, the attached top piece is correct, and we do not need to read the rest. Next question. An architectural designer is creating schedules in a project. Drag and drop each schedule tool to the correct corresponding schedule description. First one is a schedule for all the materials in the wall. So that is going to the material takeoff. A schedule for all the symbols goes to the node block. A schedule for all the wall types in the project goes to the scheduled quantities. And the schedule for all the sheets goes to the sheet list. Next question. What must be added to a dimension type for the dimension to show both imperial and metric units? That is alternate units. Next question. Refer to the exhibit. The first view of a view is set to the new construction and the first filter is set to show previous plus new. What will control the graphic display of the existing elements? Answer for that is the the existing settings on the graphic override tabs. Next question. An architectural designer has created a drafting view with detail. The designer wants to use the detail in another project. What tool should be used? If you want to use in another project, you must insert views from the file. So that's correct answer. Next question. Where is the leader arrowhead control for a text node? The answer for that is text type properties. Next question. The first of a view is set to new construction. The first created parameter for an element is set to existing, and the first demolished parameter is set to new construction. What is the first status of the elements in the view? That is demolished. Next question. What should be created when the same set of sheets needs to be printed and exported to PDF multiple times? If you want to create multiple times a print set, we must make a print set. Next question. An architectural designer has an MEP plan model where air terminals are placed. The designer wants to use the air terminals locations to place generic air terminal. In the architectural model, what should the designer do? Use copy monitor and specify type mapping for their terminal. That's the correct answer. Refer to exhibit. An architectural designer needs to create the condition shown in the exhibit. The bottom extension of the outer brick layer needs to be adjusted independently of the layers of the wall. How should this be accomplished? For it, the brick layer must be unlocked, and then use the modify tool to unlock the brick layer using the edit assembly dialog for that specific wall. So the third choice is correct. Next question. Refer to the exhibit. An architectural designer is working on a room schedule. The designer has grouped the schedule by level and added a footer with title, count, and totals selected. However, the total area is not showing. What should be done to show the total area? For that, change set the area parameter to calculate totals. That's the correct answer. Okay, next question. An architectural designer is working on a project with design options. The designer needs to edit multiple walls but is not sure which design option the wall belongs to. Which tool can be used? Make primary, pick to edit. That's the correct answer. So next question. An architectural designer create an area plan. Some of the automatically generated area boundary lines are incorrect. What should the designer do to get the correct area boundaries? For that, he must use the area boundary tool to create the correct area boundaries. So the second option is correct. Next question. An architectural designer is working on a building model with multiple areas. The designer wants to create furniture plans and dimensioned floor plans with the exact same crop regions. Which feature should the designer use? The answer is the scope box. Using the scope box, the designer can select data in a correct way. Next question. An architectural designer is working on a project for an existing building. A team member has used a laser scanner to scan the building. The scan file can be used in the Revit. Which tool should be used to link the file? Point cloud is the correct answer. Refer to exhibit. An architectural designer is configuring the stairs shown in the exhibit. What type of setup should be selected? What type of supports should be selected? For this type of stairs, stranger support is selected. Next question. An architectural designer needs to remove several families from a project that are no longer needed to help reduce this file size. Which tool should be used? Purge and used. That's the correct answer. Next question. Which view property can be switched between the true north and the project north? For that, orientation is the correct answer. An architectural designer wants to create a new central model from an existing work-shared project. When opening the project, which option should be selected? If you want to make a new model from a central model using the work-shared project, you must detach from the central model. We open the model and then you can detach from the central and then click on that, and then the new project, the new file is being created using the previous central model. Next question. An architectural designer needs to create a family that can be hosted to a wall or a ceiling. Which template should be used to create the family? Because it is both wall and ceiling, the generic morphosis-based Revit should be selected. Next question. Which two items can a project parameter to be applied to? Select 2. A project parameter should be applied to both loadable families and system families. So the last two options are correct. Refer to exhibit. An architectural designer is working on a door schedule. The width and height parameter are both added to in one schedule column. How is this accomplished? This can be accomplished using the combine parameter tool. You can combine these two parameters and make one parameter. Next question. Where is the safe location of shared local copies controlled? The first option is the correct. We can create a safe in the option dialog. You can go to the file locations, and there you can control the safe location of your file. Next question. An architectural designer is creating a browser organization scheme. The available options to group by do not work for what the designer wants to do. What should be done to further customize the browser organization? For that, we need to create a project parameter and assign that to the view category. So that is the correct answer. Next question. An architectural designer needs to create the sloped roof shown in the exhibit. Which tool should be used to slope the roof? If you want to make the roof sloped, you must shape editing. You must use the shape editing tool, and there you can add a point, or you can use the slope array to make that slope you want. Next question. An architectural designer needs to control the number of horizontal grids for individual curtain walls in a project. How should this be accomplished? If you want to do that, in the type properties of that specific curtain wall, set the horizontal grid layout to the fixed number. That's the correct answer. Next question. An architectural designer has a linked architectural model and wants to place rooms inside the model. Revit does not recognize any of the elements as room bounding though. What should be done? First, we need to select the linked architectural model. Click on edit type, and then we need to enable the room bounding. Next question. An architectural designer is creating a room tag family. The designer wants to tag the reference to the room, name and room number parameters. How can this be accomplished? For that, we need to place a label in the family that includes the name and number parameters. Second choice is correct. Next question. An architectural designer needs to create an opening in a sloped roof. The opening needs to be perpendicular to the outer surface of the roof. Which opening tool should be used? Because it's on the roof, you need to use the opening by face. If you want to create an opening on a roof, you go to the by face on the opening section, and then you select the type of the opening you want. For example, here we create circular opening on the roof using by face, and then click on the tick mark, and the opening is created. Next question. An architectural designer has created a detail by placing detail components in a section view. The designer wants to use the detail components in several other section views in the same project. Which tool should be used? For that, you need to create a group. Next question. An architectural designer needs to create a new brick material based on existing brick material. The same material assets needs to be used. Which process should be used? For that, you right click on the material and select duplicate using shared assets. Next question. An architectural designer needs to create the highlighted geometry. Which tool should be used? Extrusion, circle plane, revolve. Extrusion is the best answer. Next question. An architectural designer is working on a project with a linked Revit model. The designer is unable to select the link. What is causing this condition? If that is not able to select the link, he first go and check that the link option is not able, that is disabled, and so the select link option is disabled is correct. Next question. An architectural designer is working on a door family. The material for each geometric form needs to be controlled in a project. How can this be accomplished? For that, second answer is correct. Associate each form's materials parameter to a family parameter that is a material type of the parameter. So that is the last question, and we click on submit, and you see we can get 49 out of 49 correct answers.